Okay, got the YouTube stream going. Let me get the link. And then we'll jump into things here, guys. There we go. All right. Very good. Welcome back, guys. Another 2 weeks. First off, I do want to shout out to Grom for the continued amazing artwork for the thumbnails. I think this week's is particularly cool. So definitely shout out to that artwork. Just a few things to cover for today. Today's AMA, the past couple of weeks. A couple of questions to go through, and I don't expect us to be here too long for today. So we'll try to keep things concise for you guys. First things, the obvious things, that the Sphere Discord was unfortunately temporarily compromised for a brief period of time, and a link had been posted asking users to claim tokens. We do have the situation under control now. As you can see, we are still navigating through the aftermath of that, so we do appreciate your patience. Which brings up the general overarching topic of Discord safety. So please exercise extreme caution and common sense before clicking on any links. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. If it seems odd or off or off tone, it probably is. Please read all links thoroughly for spelling mistakes. If it looks different, it probably is. Please verify accuracy from previous announcements and with the team. If things are, again, not online with the things that we've already been doing, it doesn't make sense. It probably is wrong. Verify accuracy with us if need be. Always be wary of links, especially be wary of links asking you to claim anything, especially if there was no previous discussion about claiming anything. And always check and verify accuracy through official links as well. Discord compromises do happen, and obviously we apologize that it happened. Hopefully no one was significantly impacted by that, and I think, shout out to our team. We were very quick to act, I thought. But I did want to, of course, talk about that, and hopefully can possibly make a video about that as well. Just some general tips in terms of how we can just make this experience safer for everybody. With respect to general updates, of course, we're continuing your work. Our biggest priority on getting the Prion V2 DApp situated and released. That's going to continue to be our biggest focus. Accompanying that is updates to Dyson as well, because Prion and Dyson go hand in hand. And in addition to Prion V2, the DApp, that will also come with the OPrion token emissions, VE Prion locking yield as well. So some really exciting things coming for the ecosystem with respect to that. In the meantime, we continue to work on offering new strategies, as I'm sure you've seen. So you can now leverage yield farm the Star USDC Aerodrome pool on Imprimax Finance. If you haven't seen that, this can also be done using Extra Finance as well. And the Extra Finance vault or pool can be found on the Prion Earn page as well. It looks like every project's Discord server takes turns to get hacked, and it looks like it was our turn. Unfortunately, it is something that happens in the space, and so it's just something that we should be helping people stay aware of, and cognizant of the fact that that can happen, and kind of what to be on the lookout for if it does happen. All right, so that's really it for updates. Really not too much to share, but definitely wanted to highlight the Discord safety, and did want to, of course, then jump into the different questions here. This one kind of made me smile from Drawrical. Please discuss the current Sphere v2 versus proposed tokenomics of Sphere v3. Even if you don't know what they will be yet, can you confirm that it will be towards a mind of benefiting your patient and long-suffering investors? This made me chuckle. I do hear where you're coming from, though. It's definitely been a very, very long road, and it has required a lot of patience on both ends. There's been a lot of bumps in the road throughout this whole journey, but I think the progress we've made has been really, really positive, and above all else, and shout out to the treasury management team, I think the treasury management has been superb. So, I think we're definitely making good progress, and we are positioning ourselves to make even further progress with all of these different chess pieces, so to speak, within the ecosystem, or cogs in the clock, as I like to say. So in terms of Sphere v2 versus Sphere v3, I was back and forth in terms of what I wanted to say with respect to this, and I think what I'm going to lean towards is less is more. I don't want to say things that end up changing in the future. What I can definitely say is that we do plan to upgrade the tokenomics of Sphere. What is kind of undecided at this point is how that can best be achieved, because there are many different ways that we can do that, and we have to sift through those different possibilities and options and nuances in order to find the best possible solution. Obviously, nothing can be perfect, but by playing through these different scenarios, by brainstorming and trying these different things, then we know that we can confidently put our best step forward in terms of those upgraded tokenomics. And of course, the whole point is to benefit, going back to the Sphere token, as we've discussed from the get-go. So hopefully that can ease the mind of our patient and long-suffering investors. I'm there with you. We're patient, we're trudging through, and we are starting to emerge on the other side. So it's exciting to see, and but even in that process, it still unfortunately does require that patience. So we sincerely appreciate your patience and support. We love you guys. This is for the community, so we love to see that you guys are still here and participating, and we're excited for what will come as we lay down these next steps for Sphere and the ecosystem. All right. And then the other question was from Neo Viper. What happened to the Dyson Gains Discord text channel? Why is it empty? So this is the unfortunate aspect of the compromise of the Discord channel, is that things got messed up. And one of the things that got deleted were the Dyson Gains Discord channel. So we do have to kind of restart from scratch. That being said, I posted some gains there. I saw someone else posted some gains there. So please, if you do have any gains that you can share, you can just take a screenshot to share your gains and start to rebuild that channel. We would really appreciate that. It obviously sucks. It's unfortunate, but we have to take the punch and keep walking with it, and just pick up our feet and keep moving. So it is what it is, and again, we apologize for the inconvenience. I sincerely hope no one fell victim to that phishing attempt, scam attempt, and we just want to continue to do our due diligence moving forward. So that being said, like I had mentioned, a pretty short list of things to discuss today. So I'll turn it to the AMA chat. We've got some guys here. Do you guys have any questions or thoughts on the markets? There's been some pretty interesting things going on. While people are, oh my goodness. All right, T1, what a doozy. This is more of a question for Rux, okay, but what's stopping the team from incentivizing Star on every chain? From what I've seen, it looks like we have been taking turns to vote for Star LPs on each chain. For example, one time we were voting on Star on Polygon through Retro, another time Star on Arbitrum through Aura, and then Star on Base, and now Star on, or now Prion on Scroll. Just adding that for you. So why not simultaneously on all chains, since I know the team have accumulated a lot of Aura, Bal, Arrow through different farming. I see Pandu typing, so I'm going to hold back, but I have some thoughts to share as well. While Pandu is possibly percolating a response to that, I will take this time to remind everyone of the fact that it is indeed very close to the turn of the epoch once again. So here's your bi-weekly reminder to check your governance tokens to see if you have any votes that you'd like to do in order to receive any potential bribes. Please also check your sphere in the Dyson vault if you have any sphere locked so that you can either relock it or withdraw it. And we will go forward from there. Continue to let Pandu type. I have a feeling I know more or less what he's going to say, so I'm just going to hold off until he's got that out. And yeah, exactly. And then we can open to other people while we are waiting on that. Anyone else have any questions? Good question, by the way, T1. By the way, T1. All right, so Pandu response to you, T1. Incentivizing Star at the moment on most dexes is unfortunately at a loss, meaning that based on the bribe APR, we decide where and when to do it, and it changes based on multiple factors from what I've seen. Right, exactly. And this is more or less what I was going to mention. The other thing, too, because you had mentioned, we have these different governance tokens. Sometimes different dexes require different boxes to be checked before you can incentivize. So that can also potentially limit where and how we bribe. So that's another aspect of it, but it does kind of boil down to opportunity cost as well. So where can we make the most of our efforts? Right. So different dexers are going to want different deals. It brings up different situations, and sometimes those situations are simply not as attractive or profitable as others. So it's a balancing act, and from the investor side, it can certainly seem disjointed, perhaps at times, and not and inconsistent. But there are reasons for that, for those changes, right? There's like I mentioned, I think the treasury management team has been superb in terms of how those decisions are made, and it's always in an effort of maximizing efficiency, capital efficiency. Panda is also pointing out that Balancer and Aura are both on Ethereum, and it's a bit of a headache apparently to do that, and the bribe APR is perhaps the lowest currently of the options available. It's a very good question though, T1. Very observant, um, and very reasonable to ask. Yeah, Rux has a lot of calculators, so he's made his own calculator that helps provide information regarding the different dexes, and that can then help guide how much and where to incentivize, so that we can not be at a loss and potentially be at a good profit for the ecosystem as a whole. T1. Okay, makes sense. What about the VE tokens team already have? Let's say Retro Finance. Are the team still voting using the VE tokens, or are they just idle? No harm in voting, since gas is cheap. This also can depend on the situation, T1, because it's a similar type of thing where it depends on the decks and the situation, and the decks may have certain boxes they want checked in addition to utilization of that voting power for our pools that may simply not be favorable for us. It's kind of it can become an interesting um, political game in a sense. Unfortunately, for some of these dexes, where it also comes down to um, working together and then coming to compromises on different things and having things that we want to work together on, um, or if things are not lining up in the way that we see is beneficial in the long run for Sphere and the ecosystem, that it may not make sense for us to continue pursuing that. I know it's very general and not specific, but um, that's kind of the best way I can answer that. Yeah. And feel free to bounce ideas off Rux as well when he's available. He's always, of course, open to different thoughts and ideas. And in my experience, there's always a reason behind the actions that are taken, including the inactions, because most, if not, I couldn't say all things, but of course, because there's so many different possibilities in DeFi, but a lot of different things are considered and put on the table and looked at, and then it comes down to, okay, what's actually going to be the most efficient and make the most sense right now and in the long term, and that's always going to be a balancing act. And there's always more factors involved in that than meets the eye. Really good questions, though. Anyone else have any questions, or do you want any more questions about that or anything else? I do see the Pandu Master typing more, so wait and see what that response is as well. But then, oh, here we go. So Pandu, we're okay. So here's a more specific answer for the VE Retro NFT from Pandu. Um, Keeping the VE Retro NFT, we invested bribes to make it bigger and bigger. Anapar has been given as protocol allocation, but since we're not bribing on Retro anymore, we don't use it to farm emissions to lower their price. So we want to help partners, not make them die. Yeah. So for now, we're waiting to see what they're doing, and we'll consider our options then. It really just expands into the reality of working collaboratively with other people and other teams, and the fact that there's always going to be multiple factors that go into these decisions, and we have to weigh those things and balance them for what's going to be best long term. Short term and long term, it's always going to be a balance, and navigating that can be challenging at times. All right, very good. Anything else? Otherwise, we can look at wrapping up today's AMA early. Again, especially for those of you listening on YouTube later, we appreciate you showing up, and I want to be cognizant of your guys' time as well. So I am doing my best to try to make these AMAs as concise as possible. Indeed, indeed. Thank you, T1. So we do indeed have an AMA coming up with Dia. So please check out that official link only, please, for the Twitter or X Spaces. We're doing an X Spaces with Dia on August 19th, 10 p.m. UTC. So hopefully you guys can make it. X Twitter, exactly. I think it's always going to be Twitter for most of us, but for the X Spaces. So that should be exciting. Hope you guys can join us on that. And Pandu expanded more with the VE Retro. Once they come out with their new algebra pools, we'll talk with them and see if we can find it worth bribing again. We shall see. So always, teams are always improving their protocols as well. So if we can keep working with them, we certainly will. All right. Well, thanks for the reminder on that, T1. And I think we'll probably close things off there, unless anyone else has any further questions. When did yeah. Can't be hasty, right? These things take time. It'd be nice if things worked on a day to week scale, but they really work on weeks to months scales, sometimes even years. So it's a long process. I see the one question starting to hit, so I'm going to tactfully say thank you all so much for showing up and for being here. Please drop your questions if anything comes up the next 2 weeks into the AMA questions. You can always reach out in the different chats, ask us anything that comes up. We're happy to help. We have a really good community as well that's more than happy to help. Anyone has issues. If you have any significant issues, then please open up a support ticket, and we will get that process going as well through the support ticket. So yeah, again, thanks for showing up. Always remember that you matter for who you are. I'm smiling at Pandu and T1's notes, and we'll see you guys next time. Good night. Take care.